Here's a fucking weekly recap. Yeah.
F right. The weekly recap. Second week of the playoffs. We got 2 weeks left. This week, the next week. Because it's a 3-week playoff system. 2 out of 3. Simple math. You didn't have to do it because I did it for you. Let's get right into it, fellas, ladies, and otherwise. Last week, the Crunktown Stompwomps lost to the McCarthy on your faces, 107.5 to 81.5. Top scorers on each team, T.Y. Hilton for Gabbs and C.J. Anderson, who was, I think, my best pickup of the entire year. Sadly, does not make up for LaShawn McCoy, my number one pick, being an absolute shit dud most of the time. And also in the winner's bracket to go into the second round to face the two byes, which were Dylan and Elliott, the Squeakers came out on top of the River Manor Swamp Dogs, 148 to 101.5. The top scorer for Gentner was Aaron Rodgers at 33, absolutely one of the most consistent quarterbacks this season, and making a pretty good argument for being picked in the first round next year, no matter what. And the top scorer for Abergavenny Football Abbey was Le'Veon Bell at 45 points, which he's making a case for being the number one pick next year, not just number in the first round. He's making a case for being the number one pick next year. I honestly believe that if next year the number one pick will either be Adrian Peterson on the Cowboys, Le'Veon Bell, Matt Forte, or Arian Foster, and Arian Foster and Matt Forte are going to be the safe picks there, while Le'Veon Bell and a Cowboys version of Adrian Peterson would be like, and plus Jamal Charles. It's going to be those three. In fact, Arian Foster and Matt Forte are the safe choices. Jamal Charles is still Jamal Charles. You're not going to be picking LaShawn McCoy in the top 3 next year. You're not going to be picking, you might be picking, DeMarco Murray is now going to be up there. I mean, depending. DeMarco Murray will be up there. That's the thing. DeMarco Murray is having the best season of a running back this year, and he might not even be in the first round next year picked for fantasy football because Adrian Peterson might be a Cowboy. So who knows where he'll be, although if he goes to another team, you'll have to see what the offensive line is. That's really what's so great about the Cowboys. It's not DeMarco Murray, although he is nice. Think about Adrian Peterson, the best running back in the world right now, behind the O-line that is making DeMarco Murray look like Adrian Peterson. That shit would be tight. Okay, in the consolation bracket, you talking about Dicko. Lost to the Funny Beats, 142 to 125. DeMarco Murray, top scorer for the Funny Beats at 32.5, while AJ Green was the top scorer for Vergati at 38.5, solidifying both of them as in the top 5 running backs and wide receivers around. And number 10, Shut Up Dylan, came up on top at 123 to 94.5 over Danielle. Jordy Nelson going to town for 34 points for Mark, while Matt Forte evens it out at 19. Like I just said, Matt Forte is the safe pick, but he's going to get 15 to 25 points every game. So for the predictions, I had me winning. Obviously, that was false. I had the Squeakers winning. That was correct. I think I had JR winning, but he didn't. And then I picked Danielle over Mark, and that was incorrect. Mark won. So, moving on to this week in the winner's bracket. So there are 3 brackets right now: the winner's bracket, the winner's consolation ladder, and the consolation ladder. I'll go from the consolation up. Consolation ladder: Shut Up Dylan versus the Funny Beats, number 10 versus number 7. Right now, the Funny Beats are projected to win. But they're both on a roll right now. I'm going to give it to the Funny Beats this week. Bengals versus You Talking About. Capri is currently projected to win 132 to 126. I'm going to give it to JR. Sadly, Danielle's team has just been underperforming. It's like a lot like my team. It's just been underperforming on the projections, while JR's team is keeping it pretty straightforward with a few duds thrown in here or there. So I'm going to go with JR, and that's the consolation ladder. The winner's consolation ladder. is the Ryan squared. It's Ryan versus Ryan. Number 6, me versus number 4, Ryan Gentner. Currently, I am projected to win. I'm going to give the win to myself in this scenario. Again, I cannot pick against myself. I do not have the ability. And in the winner's bracket, the two, number 1 and number 2, the guys who had buys, Kate v. Dylan. Dylan is currently projected to win 152 to 124. I'm going to give the win to Dylan. Like I said last week, it's just tough to pick against that team right now. He has so many people who are going real hard. But at the same time, Julio Jones is on his team, arguably the second best wide receiver in the league, and he's hurt. And Calvin Johnson is still not 100%. Jimmy Graham left a dud 2 weeks ago. Josh Gordon is getting Johnny Manziel this week. By the way, this is all Dylan's team. Josh Gordon is getting Johnny Manziel this week. Brian Hoyer is now going to be sitting because of how terrible he is. So that could be good or bad. We don't know how Johnny Manziel is actually going to be. He might be fantastic, and he might, not do his reads very well, so he might take his number 1 option, which is Josh Gordon, as often as possible. But you know what? He also might run Johnny Manziel, and instead of passing, because he's not used to getting hit by larger human beings than they were in college. So that might have something to do with it as well. Jock Bell and Isaiah Cowell, his 2 running backs, both decent but not great, and Andrew Luck, the really the player you assume is going to get around 30 points. So Dylan's team is strong if they stay strong, which is easy to say. But it has some holes that you have to look out for. While Kate's team, Kate/Chris, I don't know why I keep saying Kate. It's Chris. Kate's team, who I just went up against, it has Peyton, and it has T.Y., and it has Rob Gronkowski, and it has a Patriots defense that's going up against Miami and a Ryan Tannehill that is proving himself to be better than people thought he was. So there are holes in that one too, and it's going to be an interesting game. Really, to me, it's Peyton v. Andrew Luck with a bunch of supporting cast below it, and Rob Gronkowski versus Jimmy Graham. This is tight ends and quarterbacks with a bunch of people in the middle, and Calvin Johnson's hoping to break out the party. So that's them. And Team Big Pebbles versus the Squeakers. Right now, the Squeakers are projected to win 136 over 118, and but that is with the Team Big Pebs not putting in his new waiver pickup at running back. So, right now the Squeakers' top 2 running backs are Arian Foster and Le'Veon Bell, who are in the top 5 and will most likely be picked in the top 5 next year. Mac Evans, the rookie sensation wide receiver, who I guess only has less hype than Odell Beckham Jr. And then Antonio Gates at tight end and DeAndre Hopkins at the flex, who is also pretty good. Bills defense going up against Green Bay. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that. I feel like Green Bay is airing at the ball pretty hard right now and is going to kick the ever-living shit out of the Bills, but, that's just me. And Russell Wilson, the up-and-down quarterback at and he's going up against San Francisco right now, who the linebacker and core of the Oakland Raiders, who just beat San Francisco, called Kaepernick a big old bitch, and so he might feel like he needs to prove something. And it might end up being an air-and-out game where Russell Wilson has to throw a lot. And that's my breakdown of those 2 things. We'll see how Dez Bryant does for Elliott. I think Dez Bryant and Delaney Walker are the big ones there. Oh, shit! And Marshawn Lynch. Sorry. Hey, Elliott, if you're watching this, your quarterback is Cam Newton, who got into a huge car crash yesterday. His truck rolled over end on end. So right now, Cam Newton, who is currently in for Elliott, needs to probably be taken out. He's almost definitely not going to be playing this weekend. Look at a picture of his rolled over truck. It's messed up. So it won't be Cam Newton. It will most likely be Eli Manning. Elliott gets the bye, the second round of the playoffs. His quarterback gets in a car crash, and he has to put up Eli Manning against Russell Wilson this week against the Squeakers, who are already projected to do better than him. Honestly, Elliott's the underdog here, and it's going to be an interesting matchup, and I wish luck to neither of them. Let's go!
to the waiver wire.
A trade was accepted on December 4th. Mohamed Sanu and Heath Miller for Antonio Gates and Anquan Bolden. That was for JR and the Squirkers. Trade accepted between Vergatti and Gibbs. Jonas Gray for Ray Rice. A big one there. Very important. And then on December 10th, this morning, Jonathan Stewart was added by Elliott and dropped. He dropped Steven Jackson, which... Okay. Multiple people went for Jonathan Stewart this morning. I know I did, I know Dylan did, and I know Elliot did, and more people might have. But Elliot was in the waiver order sooner than we were, so he got him. And Dylan asked me this morning how the waiver order got weird like that, and I believe it was because it takes into account the amount of waivers added as well as the inverse order to standings. So it does do the inverse order of standings, but it also takes into account that if someone's added like 30 waivers while someone else has added 15, obviously it pushes them down on the waiver wire, which I believe is what that is because I'm 10 out of 10 on the waiver wire right now. And so I assume that the reason for that is because I've added more people than all the rest of y'all. Merp. Want to come merp this?
Hey guys. So I didn't think that this was even still a thing until... Shut up. Oh, it's Steph. Don't shut up. I'm talking about Peaky Blinders. Oh! The goons told me the goons! So yeah, I did watch some football Monday night. Jordy Nelson had a really nice looking game. Kid was on fire. At least, compared to me. That's not a whole lot, but still, it's on fire. Yeah, I mean, Hey, Danielle. I beat you. You beat me before, so I mean, it's balanced out. Mike, I'll see you this week. Hopefully, one of us gets to keep going. And I guess that's what would happen. What is it, fighting for fourth now? I think, yeah, we're fighting for fourth right now. Also, if you haven't taken to eating a bowl of oatmeal in the morning, you should consider it. There's a variety pack of the oatmeal guy. What's his name? Quaker State. Yep.
Or is that Quaker State? Is that oil?
Oil oatmeal.
Same thing.
Same thing. Add a little bit of one to the other. So yeah. Good luck to everybody. Is it over yet? No? Alright.
Fuck! And one more add to the waiver wire. Fuck you, Dylan. Just added Doug Martin to their lineup. Doug Martin, a journeyman this season, I believe, was picked in the second or third round by Dill and then dropped because he was mad. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe he'll do great. That's what fantasy football is all about. Maybe, I don't know. Probably not, but maybe. Okay, yeah. So that was the second week of the playoffs, man. I have a bunch of cool stuff lined up for the end of the year that I definitely want to do video-wise and like statistics-wise to kind of break down this year and then go into next year. And then we'll talk about, and then we'll start, soon we'll start talking about what we want to do next year, how we want to do it. Although I think we've pretty much come to the conclusion that we're going to do the free-for-all. I also want to put out there that I really want to do full PPR next year. Just to make it a little bit more weird and fun. I loved half PPR. It made it way better. So full PPR would probably make it great as well. So that's just something to think about. Yeah, guys, that is the second week of the playoffs. I look forward to seeing all of you try to rip each other apart. And I look forward to seeing Ryan Gentner on the battlefield, where I will, after watching both The Patriot and The Last Samurai last night, now want to very badly stab you in the stomach with a bayonet or a samurai sword, metaphorically. Okay, guys, this was fun. Bye.